Hi, everyone. Welcome. On behalf of myself, Pam Krause, and Dick Schwartz, who you'll be hearing from in a minute, welcome to this webinar talking about the IFS Online Circle program. This is a program that Dick and Tony Herbine Blank and I created a few years ago. And it's meant to be an introduction to the internal family systems model. It's a program that we really love. We love sharing it with you all, and we're happy to have you here with us today. So Dick, you want to take over for a bit?
Yeah, hi everyone. It's exciting for me to talk about this program, which, as Pam said, has been going on for several years and is, by all accounts I run into, very effective. People seem to really love it. And I'm really grateful to Tony and Pam for their part of it. And I always enjoy it. I always enjoy the interaction with students around questions. And so, and IFS is growing. It's not just a psychotherapy anymore. It's become a kind of life practice. Some people use it as a spiritual practice. It's moving into the worlds of business consulting now, and mediation and coaching. We're working on starting a training for coaches. And it's also in the world of psychedelics become a kind of map to that territory for many people that are in that world. And so all that's very gratifying to me. And I'm saying all this to give you the sense that even if you're not a therapist, this can have a wide application. And I'll tell you a little bit about the background of it, and you'll learn a lot more if you do the online circle. And this is a time of social separation and distance because of the virus. And I hope that that you can use this time to connect with your parts, what I'm going to call your parts, because when we're not in this kind of situation, we're often totally focused on the outside world and how to survive it. And this is a rare opportunity to actually use IFS to know yourself a lot better. So I'm trained as a family therapist. I have a PhD in that. And back in 1980, when I graduated, I thought I'd found the Holy Grail with family therapy. And then I did an outcome study with a group of 30 bulimic kids and their families, and found that I was wrong, that it didn't do the job that I was expecting it to. And out of frustration, I began asking clients why, and they started talking about these parts. And I had a couple who were so articulate they could talk all about these polarized interrelationships and the sequences in which they would hear the parts. And so I was hearing that, it sounded familiar as a family therapist. It sounded like a kind of inner family system, because they were talking about them as having a lot of personality. Like, these weren't just isolated thoughts and emotions. These were, those thoughts and emotions were coming out of, seemed, full range personalities. And at first that scared me, because I thought, my goodness, maybe they've got multiple personality disorder. And then I listened inside myself, and I've got them too. And some of mine are as extreme about food as theirs. And so then I became curious and started to co-create experiments with my clients to try and change the inner world. And because I was thinking what the field now still feels about it, and our culture thinks about it, I thought the critic, for example, that the bulimic kids were talking about is a bundle of critical parental voices, and the binge is an out of control impulse. And when you think about it that way, it's very limited in how you can have your clients relate to them. So I was having clients stand up to the binge and stand up to the critic and control the binge. And they were saying it was making it worse, but I didn't know what else to do. So I'd say stand up stronger or control more. until the first client I was aware of that had a bad sex abuse history and cut herself on her wrists. And I was determined not to let that cutting part keep going, and got into a big battle with it, with her trying to yell at the cutting part too, and until finally it said it wouldn't cut her. And then of course I come to the next session and she's got a big gash down the side of her face. And I just collapsed at that and said, I give up, I can't beat you. And the part said, I don't really want to beat you. And that was the beginning of this whole adventure, because it turned out that the part wasn't what it seemed. It wasn't just a cutting impulse, that it actually was protecting other parts and was frozen in time in the past, and hated the job it had, but felt like it had to do it. And actually, at one time in her life, it actually did save her life. So it was a hero in that sense. And as I got that, by just listening to the part, I started thinking, maybe these parts aren't what they seem. Maybe they're like children in a family who are forced out of their naturally valuable states into extreme and often protective roles by the dynamics of the family. And so now, almost 4 decades later, and thousands of clients later, and thousands of therapists using this all over the world, we can safely say that there aren't any bad parts. That even parts like the cutter, or the parts that take you to addictions or make you have rage attacks, aren't what they seem. They're just parts trying their best to keep you safe. And that's a big deal. And in addition, as if you listen to them, they'll tell you their secret history of how they got forced into their roles, and you can actually liberate them into their naturally valuable states, because our basic assumption is that there aren't any bad ones. That, and it's the nature of the mind to be this way, that we're born with parts, and in their natural states, they're all valuable. But traumas and attachment injuries take them out of their naturally valuable states, force them into roles, some of them protective, some of them get locked away, and keep them in an extreme place, and also inject into them what we call burdens, which are extreme beliefs and emotions that came to you from those traumatic experiences, and attach to these parts and drive the way they operate thereafter. So, so that's a big deal, that so many symptoms and diagnoses are just descriptions of the protective roles these parts are playing, and can be changed once they trust it's safe to not do their job, and they can unburden, release these extreme beliefs and emotions they've accrued. But the bigger deal, even than that, is that as I was doing all this, and I was trying to have my client talk to parts, because I'm a family therapist, and I would try to have a dialogue maybe between my bulimic kid and her critic, and suddenly she's angry at the critic. And I remembered from family therapy that if you're having two people talk to each other and one gets extreme, it's usually because a third person is interfering. So I would ask clients, could you find the one who's so angry at the critic and get it to just step back in there? And they'd say, okay, it did. And when I'd say, now how do you feel toward the critic? They'd say some version of, I'm just kind of curious about it, or I want to get to know it and help it. And seconds earlier, they'd hated it, or they were terrified of it. The simple act of getting other parts to open space inside seemed to release this person, who was like the same person in all my clients, came out with a desire to help or to be curious about the parts, and was calm and confident relative to them. And when I asked what part is that, clients would say some version of, that's not a part like these others, that's who I really am, that's myself. So that's called the self in IFS with a capital S. And again, thousands of people later, we can pretty safely say that that self is in everybody. It's our birthright. It's the nature of the mind to have it. And it can't be damaged. And it knows how to heal, both internally and externally, such that when clients access it, they start to take over the work, and they know how to relate to parts in ways that are going to help them. So that's the big deal in IFS. And so when we work with people, we first help them separate from these parts, access that self place, and then from that place, begin to work with whatever part they want to, and work with it from curiosity and calm and compassion. We call the 8 C's of self-leadership, that also include confidence, courage, creativity, clarity, and connectedness. I think that's 8. So that's a very, very brief overview of the model. And now I think Pam has volunteered to let me fool around with her parts, so to speak.
Okay. All right. Yes. So, yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen here, which is pretty normal, right? As
Right.
inside. So, all right. I'm going to turn it over to you being my therapist.
Okay. Well, is there a part you'd like some help with or get to know better?
um, I just got aware of this part last night. And it's really been agitated by this whole virus of the COVID and everything, and learning that I am considered to be in the elderly category, right?
That's enough to
Yeah,
parts, right? Yeah.
I mean, I was okay being a senior citizen. Elderly is just like a whole new thing for me. But what I got, my daughter-in-law is a nurse and in California, and they're now having to decide who they're going to treat and who they're not going to treat. And as we were having this conversation last night, I got aware of a part of me that's really scared that, you know, I I'm healthy and all, but I'm also still elderly. And if it came down to me and somebody who was in their 30s to get a ventilator, then it's probably going to be that whoever that person is, right?
It's true.
Yeah. And so I have parts that really understand that. And at the same time, I just really was noticing, started out just being anxious about it, kind of scared. Yeah.
All right, that's great. That's a great, what we call trailhead. It's a point of departure to follow.
Say, it's not that great, Dick. No,
Well, we'll see. We'll see how great it is.
we'll see where it goes. Yeah.
So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay.
All right, Pam. So go ahead and focus on that anxiety.
Okay.
Find it in your body, around your body.
Yeah, it's right in here. It just feels like this, almost like a disc, it's sort of a little bit in front of me and it's just really radiating anxiety.
And as you notice it there, how do you feel toward it?
Um, yeah, I'm not sure I like this one very much.
Yeah. So I can understand that because of the way it makes you feel. But let's see if the parts that don't like it could relax a little in there and give us some space so we can just get to know it.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Yeah, they'll give a little space now.
Okay, then focus on it again and tell me how you feel toward it now.
I feel like sort of a little sad for it, tender towards it. Yeah.
See if you can let it know that.
Okay.
and just see how it reacts.
Mhm. You know, it's very focused that way, not
Mm.
toward me right now. So it's not much, really no reaction at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you tell how close you are to it in terms of feet away in there?
Oh yeah, it's really close. I mean,
Right
it's
there, yeah.
really, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
really close.
Maybe just see if there's a way to get its attention so
Mhm.
it can see that you're there and it's not alone.
You know, it's interesting. Like it's starting to notice that its back, which is to me, if it has a back in front, it feels different back here than it does out there.
Mhm.
But yeah, it seems like it's noticing me a little.
All right. So let's just do that for a while.
Okay.
Just keep extending this compassion and this awareness that you're with it, you care about it.
Okay. It's shifting more. It's feeling less anxious
Hmm.
and feeling more like some sadness coming through.
And is the sadness coming from it or from a different part? Can you tell?
Mhm. At first, at first it seemed like it was it, but now it feels like it's something else. Something um, feels like this has kind of moved away, and um, yeah, it's a little, I don't know, little girl. She's about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5. And
How do you
she's
feel toward her, Pam, as you see her there?
um, let me see, because I'm starting to feel like I was getting teary. You know, I was really feeling a lot of her sadness. So let me just. Um, Yeah, I feel a lot of compassion. My heart feels really open to her.
So let her know.
Okay.
How does she react?
She likes it. She's always been pretty alone. She was in a really dark place for most of her life, feeling really alone. She's not that alone anymore, but she's feeling she's she's glad I'm there. Let me
That's
just
great. And before we do more with her, maybe just ask around in there and see if there's any fear about letting you spend time with her.
There are some parts that are a little embarrassed and concerned about doing this online and being
Yeah.
filmed. So I do
So
know.
let's check in with those parts just to see what they're afraid would happen if we kept going.
Well, you know, I know it's going to be some pretty personal stuff, and there's just a fear of being exposed and not knowing how people are going to react to it, and
Yeah, of course. But tell them you don't have to tell us what you see from her.
okay,
It's between you and her. And that I promise you, I have nothing but admiration for your courage to go here and be this vulnerable. And I suspect I'm speaking for a lot of people.
that that thank you, and um, you know, my my parts really trust you and feel safe with you and feel like they can count on you. So that helps. That
Okay.
definitely.
So just ask again now and see if we do have permission to spend a little more time with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'm right back there with her.
All right, good. Yeah, and just keep letting her know that you're there and you care about her and you're interested in what she wants you to know about herself.
Mm. It's so interesting. She's like 4 or 5 years old, and I have an older sister and a younger sister, and then my brother is 4 years younger than I am. And this part has always felt super protective. From that 4 or 5 years old, she really felt so protective of him, and this activates all her worry about him when he was little. And yeah.
Let her know you get that and see if there's more she wants you to know about why she felt so protective of him.
Well, before she does that, she needed to let me know that she's feeling so one of my kids is in the Bay Area. My other son is in New York City. And
Two hot spots.
she's really worried about my son that's in New York because he's alone. And she just doesn't want him to be alone if he gets sick or something happens to him. She
Yeah.
really wants him.
Yeah. So let her know you get that. And you also get the parallel
Mhm.
and see if there is more she wants you to know about why she was so protective of your brother.
Yeah, I think some of those parts that are reluctant came back in again. It just sort of went, "Zhit." So might need
Okay.
a little help with that.
Again, tell them you don't have to disclose anything. This is just for her to
Mhm.
feel witnessed by you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's just like, some other part needs to say this, okay, and then I'll go on. My mother is a really lovely woman. She's very, and she just wasn't there,
Yeah.
not in a way that this part, I mean, this part's um, never was really taken care of.
Yeah.
And she was old enough by the time my brother came along that she didn't want him to befall the same fate.
Yeah. So let her know you get all that. That makes a lot of sense. And just see if she does feel like you're getting this or if there's more she
Okay.
needs you to understand about it.
you know, she's just showing me some stuff about what's happening right now, in that I have been emailing my son like every 2 days in New York saying, I'm coming to get you. I can drive over and drive back. It'll be easy. Um, but he thinks he was exposed about 10 days ago. And so he wants to get through the whole, he's being much more responsible about this than this little part is.
Yeah.
And I'm just so sad and worried and scared for him.
Yeah. She is the 4-year-old. Yeah. Okay, Pamela, why don't you go to her in that time period and be with her in the way she needed somebody back then?
There's this, I'm at this scene with her. There's a picture of me, like my brother's maybe, he's less than a year old, maybe he's 9 months old. He's sitting in a high chair and I'm next to him and we're both just smiling, you know, and she just wants me to be with her there.
Yeah,
Because she was smiling, she was feeling all this also.
that's great. So you are there, right?
Yeah.
And how are you being there with both of them?
I'm I'm saying some stuff to her that she wanted to hear back then.
It's great.
Her and who she is. And
Mm-hmm. How's she reacting? She's believing you?
she is.
It's great.
And you know, she's so sweet. She wants us to have him with my brother there because she wants him to get some of this too.
Huh? Good.
Pretty amazing little thing.
Isn't she?
Mhm.
And see if there's anything else she wants you to do with her or for her back there before we take her to a good place. Like, does she want you to deal with the mom in any way or anything else?
Nah, I don't need. No.
She said no?
Yeah, she said no.
Okay.
You know,
Let's see if she's ready to leave that time and place with you, and we can bring her brother along if she wants.
gotta bring him.
Gotta bring him, yeah. So is she ready to do that?
Mhm. Yes.
All right, then let's take her somewhere safe and comfortable that she'd enjoy. Could be in the present, could be a fantasy place,
Mhm.
whatever she'd like.
Okay.
Where do you have her?
Right in my heart.
Great.
Yeah, she likes it.
Her brother's there too?
Yes, he.
Okay, good. And now tell her she never has to go back there and you're going to take care of them in the way your mother didn't.
Mhm.
And see if she's ready to unload the feelings and beliefs she got back there, given that she never has to go back. And ask her where she carries all that in her body or on her body.
Um, yeah, it's just really this heaviness in her heart. And it's a weird sort of combination of heaviness and emptiness. I don't know how to describe it.
Okay.
Those things, yeah.
And ask what she'd like to give it all up to: light, water, fire, wind, earth, anything else.
Yeah, she wants to sort of, um, I don't know, it's a combination. Sorry, I'm not, there's a part going, sorry, I'm not following the exact protocol. But she wants to give it up. It's weird. She just wants to sing because part of this is like really shut her down in here.
Yeah.
So she just wants to sing, and there's like light and this warm breeze.
Beautiful.
I know, it's very sweet, isn't it?
Yeah. So tell her to sing it out. Sing it all out of her body.
Okie doke.
So how's she doing now?
She's feeling good.
Good.
Mhm.
And if she wants now, she can invite qualities that she'd like into her body, and you can just see what comes into her now.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to put words to it, but I can feel it. There's now a warmth in here. It doesn't feel empty any longer. It feels lighter, not
Good.
heavy. So whatever the words are for, I don't know exactly, but it feels real different.
Good.
Mhm.
Okay. And then the original anxiety part, let's bring it in and so it can see it doesn't have to protect this girl anymore. Just see how it reacts.
It's, it's actually doing really well. It's not, it used to be this disc. This is so crazy, but it's kind of like leaning against a wall with its elbow, like, okay, okay, much better. I don't have to be all,
Uh-huh. Good.
yeah, yeah, it feels good.
And then before you come back, Pam, think about your son in New York and just see how it feels.
Yeah, she still really loves him and really wants him to be here, but there's not that, um,
Charge.
yeah, desperation or, the intensity around it. She'd still like him here, but it's not this, yeah, the charge is gone.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, she likes him.
All right. So thank your parts for letting us do all that.
Yeah. Hang on.
And yeah, how do you feel?
Um, I feel good. I feel good. It feels much different here. I know
Mhm.
parts of me that are now worried about how clear my head's going to be, but so I'll just ask everybody if my head's not that clear for the next couple minutes. I'm coming back, but
It's true because you're on now, aren't you? I don't know.
I know I am supposed to be on now, so it'll be fine though. It's just it's so amazing to me that it's I don't know. It's just such a very sweet place to be.
Yeah.
It feels very sweet to me, and it's
Well, it's
nice.
interesting because I was thinking while you were doing it, we were talking earlier about how now you're having to take care of your mom, right?
Yeah,
And she's calling you all the time, and yeah,
you can. I think that is some of what's brought this up because now I'm
that's what I
really, I can see it so clearly in a way that some of my parts wouldn't let me see it when I was a child. So that's definitely a piece of it also.
yeah, they couldn't.
No, oh no, 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 it would have been way too scary. Yeah, so, okay, so let's hang on one second. I just need to check something out. Okay. So, let's talk a little bit now about what the online circle is really about. I feel like
Yeah.
I back that helped, Dick. Thank you. That really helped sort of bring me back here. So let me. Dick's given you, an overview of where this model came from. We showed you a little bit of what it looks like in action. So let's talk a little bit about the circle and what you could learn from it. So let's go to the next slide. There's me and Tony and Dick. Okay. So, as Dick said earlier, when he first started, there's so much interest in IFS right now. We're growing by leaps and bounds. Um, And we're really excited about that, and excited that so many people are coming into this modality that we all love so much that, I'll speak for me, has changed my entire life. So we're, joining the circle, you'd become part of this community. Also want to let you know that IFS is an evidence-based practice, and more studies are taking place all the time to show its efficacy in a wide range of clients. We also, I'm sure most of you have seen the movie Inside Out, which is a fabulous depiction of parts. And, in some ways, I think that's opened up some people's eyes about this, but also, I think programs like the Circle that have helped people begin to learn more about IFS. And Dick is always out there, right, Dick? Like introducing people to the model and sharing. Okay, here's where my brain freezes. Just sharing your wisdom, your 40 years of wisdom with it. So it's an exciting time to be with us. Want to do the next slide, Sarah? And so, one of the reasons that we wanted to create the online circle was because not everybody can get access to one of the trainings. It's Dick said, people have been trained all over the world, and there is a worldwide interest. So we wanted to create something that would allow people to learn about IFS, not the same as a training, but you'll learn a lot of the basics and fundamentals of the model. So this is a great program for therapists, for coaches, anyone who's interested in learning about IFS. There's even, when Dick was talking earlier about all the different areas where people are using IFS, there's one that I was thinking about, that the Foundation for Self-Leadership, which is a nonprofit organization that promotes research and the distribution of the model into areas that maybe aren't just therapists. The foundation has some programs going about taking IFS into schools and how we can help teachers and kids with that. So this would also be a terrific program for teachers, for principals, right? Yeah, and so that you also, with this program, you can get support of a community. And I'll tell you more about that later. So next slide. So you'll get what you get every month. There are pre-recorded videos that you will get every month, right? And you can see this, you can download them. It includes transcripts of the programs. And then there's also a community forum where you can discuss what you're learning with your peers or ask questions of your peers. So it's a way for you all to stay connected as you're learning about the model. Okay, next one. And here's what you're going to be learning, the monthly topics in the 6 months that you would be part of this program. I don't know that I need to read these all to you, but the first month we give you an overview and then really sort of a diagram in a way of what Dick was just doing with me, an overview of what we try to do as we help connect our client self with their parts. In May, we talk about protectors. You heard Dick talk about protectors in my system. So we do that in the second month. In June, we talk about the young and wounded parts, like that little girl of me in me was what you'll be learning about in the third month. And then all of us also will show a video, the trauma behind the rage, and just highlight some of the key points of what's happening in that session. Then July, we put everything together. We look as you'll be able to look at the system as a whole. In August, we'll talk about our parts, as Dick was being my therapist, Dick, you could probably speak to this better. You may have noticed parts of you coming in and out to help, or, we all as therapists or practitioners, our parts will want to become involved. So we'll talk about that in August. And then September, We focus on the body, the autonomic nervous center, and we wrap everything up for you guys in September. Okay, next slide, Sarah. Thank you. So here we are, the gang of three. These are the three of us. And in addition to all that recorded material, you'll also get a monthly 75-minute live Q&A with one of us. So you'll get each one of us twice during this time. And I think it's really great that you get us all, because while we all love and use this model, we all bring it a slightly different feel to it because of our personalities. And so I think it'll be great for you to have an experience of all three of us. Next slide. Yeah, so you guys can read this. You will everything will be recorded. If you can't make the live webinars, they're recorded and archived. So you will have access to everything, whether or not you can be part of the live calls. Let's go to the next one. Oh, you also get some fabulous bonus material. So the first one is this Meditations for Self, which is a meditations that Dick recorded, and they're amazing. They're really fabulous. I know a lot of people love this meditation CD. Well, it's probably not a CD anymore. It's probably downloaded, but it's really great. And there's a variety of meditations on there that will help you learn about your own parts and your own internal system. There's also a video that you all can see here. And then also another video about IFS and meditation and education. So all really wonderful additions to the 6-month circle program. Okay, next one. So if you add all this up that you get, right? If you were to get it all separately, it's about a $1,500 value, okay? However, Sarah, next, because we put this all together and we can, the program for 6 months is a little bit under $500. So you get a lot of material. I mean, every month you get 2.5 hours of recorded material and 1 hour and 15 minutes of live Q&A, in addition to the 2 videos and the CD we told you about. So you're going to get tons and tons of material and information for what I think is a really great price. Okay, next. Okay, yeah, this is something that I do want to let you know, is that this program does not replace an IFS level 1 training. It's a great, over the last several years that we've noticed this, I've a lot of people who have done the circle program and then decided ultimately to go on to a level 1 training, and they describe their experiences really different from the folks who didn't do the circle, because it gives you so much background information. It allows you to experience a level 1 training in a very, very different and deeper way. Again, if you miss a call, everything's recorded and will be available to you on the membership site within 2 days. And registration for this program will be closing next week. Okay. So we encourage you to enroll and and also, if you can, it's much better if you can watch the pre-recorded material before you go into the call. Okay. Next, Sarah. And here's some things that some other folks are saying. Some of these things I've already said to you, but I'll just speak for me. This creating this program, I think, really has been a labor of love for me, and I think I can speak for Dick and Tony about this also. It was really exciting to create, and also really exciting to share with each new group that comes in. You know, we all love this model so much, and we're so in the kind of world that we're living in now. It would be such a valuable thing for anyone. So I hope you all will consider joining us this year. Okay, I think we're at the end. Are we at the end of the slides now? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So Dick, should we answer a few questions?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not seeing any yet. So let's see if
You look in the chat.
I am looking in the chat. There's nothing there. Do you have to, oh, there we are. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. You can take this one, Dick. What does the term self-leadership mean?
Well, so we talked about self earlier, and as you were working with your parts, you were in self after we got some parts to step back,
Right.
and you were exhibiting self-leadership in your inner world as you became almost like a parent to them. And so in a sense, it's, you know, everybody knows what mindfulness is, where you separate from your thoughts and emotions and observe them. This is taking the next step, which is to not just passively observe them, but to become a good internal leader that all your other parts have been wanting, didn't know you were there often, and take some time to trust you as a leader because you hadn't been there. But as they do, everybody settles down. Like, you know, the book I always reference is Lord of the Flies, where it's a bunch of little kids trying their best to survive.
Yeah.
And they desperately need an adult to come in, and then there you are. So you are exhibiting internal self-leadership. And then as they trust you more, they let you lead in the outside world too. So you can have all your interactions with other people be from those 8C qualities. And that makes a big difference. And as you said, Pam, our world really needs this now. So one of my goals is to bring this to higher and higher levels of system so people know who they really are, which is self, and they lead more and more from that place.
Yeah. Could I just say one thing about that? Because it like when you were talking about mindfulness, and what I'm so aware of is when when I was with my parts and in that connect, it feels like connection, right? Like it's this has a whole different quality than mindfulness. And for me, it's this really strong internal connection, which is quite different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question we have is there an online IFS level 1 training available? Not currently, right?
It's in the works.
Yeah. Hopefully at some point, but right now, there's nothing you can enroll in at this exact moment. Okay. Is there a payback plan option? I'm not exactly sure what that question means.
Payment plan option.
Payment. Maybe I should put my glasses on, guys. Yes. Do you want to talk about that, Dick, or do you want me to talk about the
I want
payment?
you to, because I
Yes, there's 2 payment plans. You can either make 1 payment or 3 payments for the program. And you can, okay, the 3 payment is $187 if you do it that way. And obviously the single payment is, I think, was the $497. There's also a 30-day guarantee. So you can actually sign up, get 2.5 hours of review the 2.5 hours recorded material, do the online webinar, and if it's not what you're looking for, you'll get a refund. Yeah, so you can even sample it a little bit. Okay, so I think we're gonna close up now. Dick, is there anything you'd like to say before we end?
Just how grateful I am for that piece of work you did earlier, Pam. It's such a beautiful illustration, and I was just very proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, I just want to say thank you. I never have the right words for this kind of stuff, but if you were here, I'd give you, and we were allowed, I'd give you a really big,
Yeah. There's a
but
virtual hug, yeah.
I'm super grateful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, and thank you all for being with us today. We hope to see you on the Circle program soon, and be well. Okay.
Take care of your parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.